Hey, welcome back to Michigan Matters. We're talking with Margaret Trimmer, David Dulio, and Susie Avery about politics, civility, and oh my gosh, Margaret, so on the heels of the January 6th insurrection, which, I mean, it was captured and is being replayed now with the hearings going on, and this is just over and over and over again, this issue of civility. And does this just add fuel to the fire? And as an organization, why does Delta Dental, why are you getting involved in this?
Well, it may sound trite, but Delta Dental cares what goes in your mouth as much as what comes out of it. Okay?
Hold on, that's a quote of the day. Let me write that down.
And really, the hate and the canceling that has happened, not just January 6th. I mean, it's been going on for years now.
Right.
That if you disagree with me, you're bad, you're evil, you're awful, and there's a conspiracy. What's going on with that, right? We want to elevate and underscore the importance of civil dialogue to problem solve.
Yeah. And David, at the Center for Civic Engagement, you've also been focused on, you've had many big speakers like Walenza and others coming in. Even in Lansing, where they have the demonstrations that went on because they didn't agree with what was going on, whether it was the governor or something else. I mean, and it's a dangerous, dangerous time here. What kinds of, what, as you're looking at this, you're trying to help solve these issues and help the community thought leaders come together to talk about it. What kinds of things can be done to help raise the conversation so that it's not into a diabolical, flame-throwing situation?
Sure, and I think that there's a lot of things that are actually very simple. I'll just give you a couple. And I think it is best. Well, one of them is model behavior and tone, right? I think if we watch people or if we engage with people who sort of behave the way that we would expect them to or we want our neighbors to, that's a good thing to show other folks. And I think, too, finding ways where we can agree, not just disagree. I'll give you a great example. We had a Lincoln Douglas-style debate on abortion. You asked early in the open about, can you do this civilly? Absolutely. And we had two opinion leaders. One, her name is Jill Filipovic from CNN. We had Alexandra DeSanctis from National Review, who vehemently disagree about this topic.
Right.
But they did so in a civil, respectful manner, and throughout their conversation, they kept saying, oh, I agree with Joe on this, or I agree with Alexandra on this. So even on that, they can find agreement.
So how much are things like social media to blame on this? You have not just people going to Twitter or other things like that, but social media propagating and putting, fake news or what have you out there. How much, Susie?
Oh, I think social media has inspired a lot of it. I mean, it allows people to stay in their silos, as I call. I mean, it allows you to be just the people who think the same as you, who scream as loud as you do, who are passing along information that they are saying is correct, and a lot of people just don't have the time to sit in front of a computer and do all the research to see it.
The fact-checking.
But if somebody that they know and trust sends them something, then they will see it. And that happens a lot on social media.
And you talk about things like algorithms on the social media and other things, which is that's a whole other talk show, which we'll do at some point here. But Margaret, you work for a big company, and we know talk of politics can be very fiery oftentimes. Do you set rules, parameters? I mean, again, I'm sure you know within your workforce of people that you're close to, who's where on the political spectrum, and even having conversations is tough.
It's very tough. And of course, we consistently reinforce that kindness, tolerance, acceptance, active listening, all of those things that we've learned as participants and sponsors of the Civility Project. We try to engage people up front in, here's what civil dialogue looks like. So we model it as leaders, but we also understand that civility doesn't mean you have to cave and agree with people with whom you have differences.
Right.
But it means you have to listen and learn, and really we stress the common ground and the common mission that we're gathered together to do at Delta Dental.
Yeah. David, I can't have you here and not ask you about this political season that we're in here. But let's start with the top of the ticket here, with the governor's race. I know the polls show that the race has been tightening here. Your quick thoughts about that? And I know you had a debate, and I know there's been a couple debates along the way here. We had both of them, in fact, here at Michigan Matters talking on the same show. Your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think it's not unexpected that polls are sort of all over the place.
Yeah.
I think my big takeaway is, and they have been throughout the campaign season, right? And it's just hard to be a pollster.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to do that job. I know you've had Ed Sarpolis on a bunch of times, and they do great work, but it's really hard to be a pollster because there's always a lot of second guessing, and I imagine we'll see some of that after this cycle, too.
And Margaret, I know you have a PAC that gives monies to candidates, and I don't know how involved you personally get in deciding who gives what to what, but your just quick takeaway on this conversation on these races in Michigan, particularly the top of the ticket, how you see it.
Well, we play our bets. We hedge our bets. We have to work with both sides, and no matter who wins, we have to have a productive, positive relationship. So that's how we determine where we put our PAC dollars.
So you stay with the incumbents if things are going okay?
The incumbents this round have been pretty darn good to work with.
Okay, and Susie, I know you have lots of opinions on this, but you know what? You're going to stick around for the roundtable, so I'm not going to ask you about it.
Oh, get ready. Get ready out there.
It's your birthday, but you'll have to hold that thought a minute here. Listen, I want to thank you, Margaret and David, so much for being here. Great things, and we'll be in touch. Let's do this again sometime after the election, see how things turned out.
Super.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
that'll be
good.
Carol.
great.
And keep it right here. We're back with more Michigan Matters and the rest of the roundtable after this.